Hey, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home. I'm really dirty right now because I'm taking out a fireplace here. I'm here at the Pine Valley job, and it's an old 100-year-old Pioneer Adobe home that we are restoring, and it needs some serious help. I just wanted to share with you what we find sometimes when you deal with a home that's about 100 plus years old. We find a lot of rot. The entire floor is just rotting through. I mean, I can step on that literally, like you saw right there, and break right through it. It's that bad. We had to go over here to this room here. The floorboards were so bad, and we took out the entire floorboard, and we're working our way over to the kitchen now. I wanted to show you a couple things here. I don't knock people in the past because, you know, during the Depression era, which is, this home was built before that and it survived the Depression era, they didn't have any money, so they had to make do with what they could find. And they just used an old log here and put the floorboards right on top of an old log because they couldn't even afford the concrete. So they just basically shored this thing up with whatever they could. And this is original rough sawn 2x4 lumber. But we found layer upon layer of flooring here. We found original 1x, which, believe it or not, that's in the best shape. Then on top of that, we found tongue and groove flooring, which is the next layer you see over there. Tongue and groove flooring. And then we found some newspaper from 1945. And then we found 2 layers of linoleum, different designs for different eras, of course. And we found some particle board on top of that. And then another layer of linoleum. So tearing it out's been hard. One of the things that's hard, you know, you look in the past and you feel bad for how people had to survive. And you don't knock them, but it's just the way they did things. This here's a floor that was resting right on dirt, literally resting on dirt. So this area of the floor over here, it kept sinking and kept sinking. And every time the wood would rot, they used to put another sheet of plywood on top, and it kept sinking and sinking. It was just rotted all the way through. You just can't build right on dirt. That's why you have concrete foundations or concrete piers or something like that. You learn a lot about construction technology, a lot about what really lasts, what doesn't last. And then we have original tongue and groove flooring here, which sadly it all has to come up. It's all rotted so bad, as you can see over here. It's just rotted right through the floorboards. It's rotted all the way through. And even when you grab it and you pull it out, it's almost damp, like it's been holding water for such a long time. There hasn't been any air circulation in this building. So I can't do a crawl space on this. I'm gonna fill the whole thing up with road base, with chat, compact it, run my water, run my sewer lines, and then I'm gonna reinforce it with rebar and fill the whole thing up with concrete. It's the only way I can deal with this and really shore up the exterior walls. I wanted to share something else with you right over here that's kind of interesting. And you can see older pioneer ways of doing things and how the next generation dealt with things. This here is a crumbly old exterior wall. Now it's 24, 26 inches thick, so it's pretty stable because of its width. You know, like a big heavy guy is pretty stable because of his girth, and that wall is really thick. We're gonna try to do some repairs on that, but check the original Pioneer wall. It's got a lot better tooling, a lot better pointing. The wall is a lot more stable because they took their time and they did their mortar a lot better, and that wall is really solid. I've got a really solid wall right here. This is an adobe wall, a concrete wall basically, but really thick. So we've got a real stable wall over here and a very unstable wall over here. So what would you do with something? A lot of people would blade a home like this, but when it's 100 years old, I'm now the 100th person later, and I've got to deal with it. So I'm having some ideas on that. As I pour some concrete, I may slough concrete a little thicker here, go out and put some kind of like a J-bolt with a bolt on the outside, and I put a metal plate on the outside so that as the concrete's filled up, it's locking in that J-bolt, a big thick J-bolt, like a 5/8 or an inch in diameter bolt. And then we just put a plate out there, so we help hold the whole thing together. That's what I'm thinking. This wall here is the same thing over here, along here. But the original wall, you can tell it's just in much, much better shape. Much better shape. Don't build on dirt. And I used newspaper for some vapor barrier or water barrier. I don't know, because it wasn't thick enough to give it some height, but sometimes they did that. I've seen a lot of these old pioneer homes where they just, I think it's maybe kind of a time capsule or something. They just put it up there and say, oh, let's put some newspaper up there. When people tear it up, you'll see some linoleum here, some old linoleum throughout here. So anyway, sorry if I'm making you dizzy there. It's a complete gut. I was hoping to maybe save something, but I can't. I got to pull everything out, shore up the footing as best I can. I'm really just going to pour a ton of concrete in here. So anyway, you learn a lot. Mostly you learn how people got by with nothing. They got by. They didn't have any resources. They didn't have a local Home Depot. We're 35, 45 miles from the local city. There's nothing up here. What do? You just do what you can to get by. And you can tell they didn't have enough cement to do that wall, but they did have enough mortar to do that wall. So that tells you just times are tight sometimes, and people deal with what they can. So anyway, I'll give you another post on this job. The doors kind of broken off. So, and they were shorter back then. I don't know. My grandpa built like this. I mean, I'm only 6 flat. This is how short that door is. So anyway, give you guys another update. Go out here, get some fresh air up here in the mountains. You guys take care.